Hello, I'm Denise Sturson, Executive Editor of ProBuilder, and I'd like to introduce today's guests. First, Tricia Esser, CEO of KTGY, the largest residential architecture firm by revenue in the US. KTGY works with the country's biggest single-family builders and apartment developers, as well as retail and mixed-use developers. And Lisa Simeone and Gina Deary, founders of the Simeone Deary Design Group. The company is one of the nation's largest hospitality design firms, and Lisa and Gina are both designers with decades of experience positioning lifestyle and hospitality brands in the global marketplace. We're here today to talk about the fact that your two companies have decided to join forces. The concept of an architectural firm focused on residential development having an in-house interior design department is an unusual one. Tricia, how did the idea of bringing Simeone Deary on board come about?
Well, this came about a few years back when we started talking about how can we integrate interiors better with our architecture, and really realizing that the client could benefit and value from sort of a one-stop shop in terms of, one place, but that the projects could benefit from having an integrated process where interiors was in the project from the start. And we do that with a lot of our consultants. We pair up and they're in early on, but there's something about culture and the vibrance of a project when everybody sort of understands the plan from the beginning and is under one roof. Even though KTGY is large and we have a lot of roofs, just that idea that we're all in one company and can talk about vision and our plans for the project together. So it started as our strategic plan a few years back, and we've been searching for the right firm to really make the impact that we wanted to make with our clients and with our projects. And when we met Simeone Deary, we knew we knew pretty early on that was going to be the right fit for us, because culture matters just as much as talent and experience, right? And so just the fact that we enjoyed the environment of working with them and the climate that we created together, that was kind of what ended up making the final decision.
That makes a lot of sense. But why a partnership between a residential architecture giant and a hospitality design leader?
So I can share, what it brings to the table for KTGY to hospitality, and then maybe Gina can share about why us for them. But for us, I feel like, hospitality so much is about the amenity spaces and that feeling of home when you travel, and the benefit of having that in our own communities. We really feel like when you have a large apartment complex or even a smaller complex and you have those amenity spaces, you want them to feel like a hospitality environment would feel. And so there was a great marriage between the two companies, residential and hospitality, because we feel like hospitality is the way that residential is going in a lot of ways, just in the environments that we're already creating. So that was a big bonus for us, that they had this hospitality expertise that they could bring to the table for us. Gina, what about you? I mean, from your side?
Well, from our side, it's really interesting because hospitality design is a division of design that really lets itself go kind of in many different directions. So when we do hospitality, we do the amenity spaces, and sometimes we're doing the restaurants, and sometimes we're doing the spa. So we started to hear a lot of get a lot of proposals or requests for proposals for residential, and we really started to become interested in how we could use our expertise of, because hospitality is really experiential design, how we could use our expertise in your market. And then when we talked to you, it was pretty much one of those things where the light bulbs went off. In addition, we don't have architecture, we have interior design, branding, and interior architecture. And we were always looking for that last kind of piece where we could not only do the interiors, but have a say of how your exterior experience moves into the interiors. Our company is very interested in the architectural piece and how that works with our interior piece. We like the idea of collaborating with architects so that the experience is very holistic. And so when we met KTGY, it was very exciting that this could be a possibility for us, and we immediately really liked their team. It also opened up quite a lot of diversity for us in terms of market and in terms of areas we could work in, because they're on the West Coast and we're on the East Coast. And so everything in between kind of opens up for us, which is very exciting. We can introduce them to our hospitality markets, and they can introduce us to their multifamily. So we're very excited. It was very much felt like an incredible opportunity from the very beginnings of our conversations until today.
That's great. How do you intend to work together? What will your processes be like?
So Denise, what's really interesting is that now that we are one firm, we are our collaborative processes. And as Tricia said, you know, one of the really beautiful things about us coming together is that our cultures are very much in sync, and our thoughts towards collaboration are very much together. And so collaboration is a big part of what Simeone Deary did, and also KTGY. So we'll continue to be very collaborative. But the nice thing about us working together is we are now able to give our clients a very soup to nuts process. And we were always able to offer, and we had in-house a branding part of our interiors portfolio. So as we started to develop our interiors department, we always knew that branding and positioning should be part of that, and that's how we told our stories. That's how our narratives came about, and branding and positioning has always been part of that ever since we started our company almost 20 years ago. So when we came together with KTGY, we knew that having that branding and interiors component married with their architectural and planning component was able to really serve our clients in a way that would give them this a process that would be able to bring them a project from the very beginning, from a positioning, very conceptual component, all the way through to a completion of a project, from beginning to architectural completion.
Wow. So tell me something about the kinds of projects you'll be working on together.
Obviously, our large apartment projects are a perfect spot. Our student housing, senior housing. I think there's so many different, on the residential side, I think there's so many different types of residential that we do that could benefit from having interior design included from the beginning in the project. And I think what we're talking about as well is, even though the client may not be interested in a separate interior design fee, what does interiors bring to the table on a project in the conversation and the design process that needs to be considered? Mm-hmm. And I think we're starting to walk through what that looks like as well on the residential side. So there are a number of projects that I think will benefit from us having interior design on the residential side.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. So how do you think your builder clients will benefit from working with an architectural firm that has both interior design and branding capabilities? I imagine some of them will, think that it might be unusual, or, what do you think?
You know what, we have a same, just like Gina and Lisa have long-standing architectural relationships they still plan to work with. We have long-standing interior design relationships that we know we'll still be working with. So our clients may be happy with who they've had, and we're happy working with who they've had. So that will still continue in a lot of projects as well. Our thinking is that for the builder, branding is huge on projects, right? And normally it's architecture, and then it's interior design, and then it's branding. And to think that there's one place and the project gets designed from the start with the brand in mind, with the interiors in mind, with the architecture in mind, like, dang, I think that's really compelling. And so I'm just really excited for them to understand what we can bring to the table and consider that. Well, I said, like, at the same time, we'll still work with our partners in this industry where that gets divided up, and those projects are great too. But we're just excited about what we can do together for our builder clients.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it would be a very much more of a cohesive package that you have to offer.
Right.
That's what we're hoping, right?
Yeah. And what's interesting is we usually start with the branding piece, whether it's the name or just the heart and soul of projects. That's the first place we start when we're designing. And we feel with Trisha's company that if we can start there for our builder clients and for our hospitality clients, that's the best way to do it, because that's the first thing our customers see. It's not the building, it's not the inside of the building, it's how that building is kind of handed to the community or how it's advertised. And you can start telling a story of what this living space is going to be before anyone even sees the building or before it's built even.
And to jump in a little bit on what you're saying, Gina, I think that kind of is a huge differentiator for our firm, Denise, is that that branding positioning and that experiential factor that we weave into. It's not an add-on. It's not something that just gets put onto a project at the end or somewhere in the middle. We're weaving that brand and position and experiential piece into the DNA of the project from the very beginning throughout the design process. And so it becomes an actual part of the project. And as Gina said, you know, this is something that is an emotional component that resonates with the tenant, with the guest, with the end user, that that is the bigger selling point. It's sometimes even bigger, I hate to say, than the design itself, but paired with the component of design is a very powerful thing.
There's a lot more feeling involved with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you know, that sounds like a win-win for everyone, honestly. It's wonderful. Do you have anything else you'd like to throw out there about it at this point?
No, I think the idea that we can integrate everything is really what we're going after here, right? An integration from design from the beginning to the end, including all facets of design. And I'm just really, I think I'm so excited. Gina and Lisa are amazing talent, and they're also just fantastic people. So it's just been fun and encouraging, and you wake up in the morning and you go, I can't wait to work with them. So I think that part of it just makes us super excited about where we're at right now. And I hope our clients can see that and value that and see the value and the benefit of it, because we're excited about what we're bringing to the table.
I'm sure they will, because you can always tell when you're working with someone whether they're happy about what they're doing or not.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It's true.
Well, I really appreciate your coming on and talking about your new partnership. It's been really great to hear about it. And I look forward to seeing some of these projects. I hope you'll share them with me.
Absolutely. You'll be one of the first to see about them, Denise. I can't wait.
That would be fantastic. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay.
So much,
Thank you so much for asking us on.